We're now going to work on creek crossing with Savvy. Savvy here is a 4-year-old quarter horse, and he has just a little bit of experience with the groundwork. He's been in one of our clinics before, and before you get started with any of this, I really strongly suggest that you complete our groundwork and horsemanship series 1 so that you have more success out here when you get into situations like this. We've chosen a creek crossing today that's shouldn't be very difficult. It's pretty flat here, there's not a big drop off, and it's not very far across, and there's some decent area to work them out here. But what you're going to still notice at all of these crossings that we have is the terrain is maybe not ideal. So if you get out here and you don't have your homework taken care of ahead of time, you're going to find that this is really discouraging for you and your horse. So let's go ahead and get started with Savvy. What we're going to do is just kind of check out some basic groundwork with him and see if we can kind of send him around here in a circle around us. We're just going to, at first, just kind of ignore the creek and just see if we can get the horse to move their feet. So we're going to take all 4 feet to the left first and then back here to the right. We're going to take the hind quarters over, pass the front feet across, send the horse on through. Now, if you haven't completed your groundwork program, it's not going to work just like that. Your horse is probably going to be scattered around here. He's going to be drifting and running and blowing. So you want to make sure you get those things taken care of first. I really cannot stress that enough for you. It's going to make your job a lot easier. Now, he's looking pretty good here. So what I'm going to do is just offer him to come up to the water itself just a little bit closer. But if you don't have the feet moving first, bringing the horse to the water is not going to be very productive. So what I'm going to do is just kind of see how close he'll get up here to the water. He's kind of saying that's about as far as I want to go. So what I'm going to do is hold on to my lead here until he gives me one more try forward. There's a little bit, and then release that. You want to pay real close attention to that. You don't want to pull and release this line, pull and release this line, trying to get this horse up here. You want to hold that until he actually tries with his feet just a little bit right there. He's sort of kind of trying in this direction. So now I'm going to bring him back down here. This is a little bit easier spot here. There's been some cattle in here watering and things, so we'll see if he can kind of make this spot a little easier. There's front right foot, went forward just a little, and I'm going to offer him our driving pressure in reverse. I'm going to offer forward, see if we can get just a little bit more out of him. Hold, hold. It's about the feet. It's not about the water crossing. It's about the feet. So I'm going to just wait until he tries a little bit harder here, right there, and release. Notice again, I keep tension on this line until he tries with his feet. If you make it about the obstacle, you try to surround the horse, get in behind the horse, trap the horse, all those things, it's not going to work out very well for you normally. You may get him across once or twice, but he's not going to be really sure of how he got there. So again, that front right foot tried to reach. Now right there, he's starting to get curious, you see, about the water. And that's what we want. So I'm going to offer those feet again to back. Now feet forward. There, that front left went just a little bit farther. What you could do here is just draw a line in the ground. It might be a little bit hard to see on film, but just kind of make a line and keep track of where the horse has been and where he's heading to. There, the front right foot went just a little bit farther than it has before. So we're going to offer the horse to back again, and now resend the horse and release. There, you see he's starting to check things out just a little bit more and a little bit more. Very good. And then offer the horse back. You can see he definitely doesn't want to be in the water. He's willing to check it out, but he's right now not just really wanting to be involved. And this is probably going to be pretty normal for most of you and your horses. They're not just going to jump into a body of water right in the very beginning. So it's very important here that there you kind of slipped in. We check things out here on the ground at first. We're going to be doing a lot of segments here under saddle, but if you're really unsure how things are going to go with your horse, I'd really suggest starting out here on the ground. Now that was good. He really checked things out there. He wanted to think about drinking some water there. That was really good. So we just might be making some progress here in just a second. So I'm going to put a little bit more request on him that time. A little more swing in the rope, a little bit more drive. I'm going to bring him forward here and then back him up. I brought him forward just to kind of get him in a little better position here for the send, so he's kind of right there at the good spot. There, he's looking again. There, see, he made some steps on his own, but see his hind feet? He about couldn't get any closer together there. He's really thinking, really trying. Now, I'm going to offer him to back up. The reason is if he is a little thirsty, then I might want to save some of that for us. If he's curious about drinking, now if I just let him get his fill of the water maybe right at first, we might lose some of that curiosity. So you wouldn't necessarily want to make your horse thirsty before you came. I believe he just happens to be thirsty, and the water is nice out here. It's really good clean water. So I'm just going to offer there and then back him up. Offer. There we go. And you just kind of have to wait the horse out here just a little. He's pretty much in the water as far as where the mud's concerned there, but see, he's still a little unsure. So we just keep offering, approaching and retreating. There, he's in. Very good. Now notice once he goes, it's pretty much all him. He says, well, I think I'm in the water. Now right here, you want to really watch the horse, make sure they don't come back on you for some reason. And that's why we have this long rope. Now you see how that's all him. Once he made the decision to go, everything's good. And that's why I said don't trap the horse, don't confine the horse, just keep track of the feet. He made that whole journey on his own, and now he's heading back out. And what I really liked about that is once he got in the water, he kept real good track of where I was. He was very respectful of my space. I really like that part. So I'm going to offer him again and see if we can make that same trip. Very nice. So what this really is, this isn't a matter of training. What it is a matter of setting it up so your horse can make some positive decisions. So if he makes a bad decision, we just kind of cut that decision off. We make it a little bit difficult for him to make those decisions. For instance, when he first didn't want to go in the water, we backed him up, sent him, backed him up, sent him, backed him up, sent him, until he figured out it might be easier to just go. And now that he's going, life is grand. So I'm going to offer again here, keep sending him around, and see if maybe we can speed this up just a little bit. And this is going to be another important key. You don't want to just come up to a water crossing and just do it once. You want to make sure this just becomes like any other piece of ground that your horse would be around. So what I'm trying to set up here is a left-hand circle that's no different than making a left-hand circle out over here. That's looking pretty good. Very nice. Now that he's done that a little bit, he's kind of wanting to get back in. That's good. I'll just give him a little pet here, let him know he's done a good job. Things don't need to be horrible out there in the water. He's pretty relaxed, he's calm, he's figured it out. But what he understands from his prior lessons is how to work through things, and he understands that we're not going to try to make him do anything, but we want him to try to digest things and work through things and make positive decisions that are going to help us in the long run. We're now going to take Savvy and see if we can improve on his groundwork here at the creek. What we've done so far is just send him around to the left, and it was pretty good for him. But some of you, that's just not going to be enough for your horses. They're going to maybe find one spot and they're going to be able to get across it, but another spot maybe not. So it's very important still that your groundwork is stronger than it possibly needs to be. That way you can lean on it a little bit more. So what we're going to do is see if we can switch directions here with Savvy and send him in the other way. He hasn't been in this direction just yet. Hopefully he just goes, but maybe he won't. We'll see here. He says, I'm just going to head right in. But as you're going to notice with your horses, they're going to have a right side and a left side that one side just works a little bit better than the other. So I'm just going to kind of play with them here and just see what we can kind of come up with groundwork wise. I'm just going to ask him to go one way and then back the other way. Ask him to come around here, send around to the right. And comes in just a little bit closer on this side. Not a whole lot, but just a little. So I'm going to tap him just a little bit more with my lead rope here to remind him of where that space needs to be. He needs to be out and away from me just a little bit. Very good. And he's starting to pick up some speed. See if we can carry that on. Very good. Now, impulsion's another great exercise here. We're going to try that again. See if you can maintain the impulsion all the way into the water. You're going to notice a lot of times, I'm going to kind of set it up here for you, where you send your horse up to the creek, and then the horse might stop and then go. Okay? you want to try to notice that and work through that spot a little bit. What you'd like to have is have your horse maintain the same amount of speed all the way through this. Because what might happen for some of you is you're going to get out here and you're going to work on your groundwork, and you might think that your horse is good, but when he's doing it, he's coming up, stopping, getting short, and going. And what we'd ideally like to have is not finish the groundwork session until the horse is moving steady throughout. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to send Savvy in here. I'm going to stop him and see if we can back him with our driving pressure here. And this is going to let us know if we're really getting anywhere or not in the creek crossing. Now, since I'm choosing not to go in the creek with him, I'm going to just draw him forward here a little bit. But on this note right here, this is something I would not do in the very beginning. I would not set my horse over here and then pull him across the creek. That's a very bad thing to do. I know some of you might get into a desperate situation, but you may just cause your horse to jump right on top of you. So that's why I say, before you get out here, get your groundwork started. Rely on your groundwork so that you have something you can lean on out here. I'm just going to keep asking him to go there. He's in a little bit of some mud there, not bad, but that's a good challenge for him. I'm going to ask him to back up just a little bit more. This is where the respect comes in. See if he actually is going to listen to you from this distance, clear over there in a little bit of mud. I'm going to offer him forward. Very good. Got the creek to wash his feet off there. Very nice. So you can just kind of turn this into a little bit of a playground after a while. And then when you do go ahead and get back on the horse, life should be just nice and easy for you.